Welcome to a small snippet of Monday Night Raw. I am not doing a review of all of Raw. That's not happening. This is only about Sasha Banks and Charlotte. And it's not generally about how the match went. This is about a question I want to pose to you guys. But before I get to that, I'm going to say at least this. How they set up the final match of the night, and the match they had before that, which was a good match, then the double countout, was well done. Mick Foley coming out saying that you're going to have a new match, falls count anywhere, no DQ. I was alright with it. I knew they were going to hold a good match. They did a good match at the beginning of the night, which wasn't bad, and then they did a very good match at the end of the night. They closed it, which I'm glad the WWE is realizing women can close the show. That's something I've always thought was stupid. Put the women as the last match of the night on some of your pay-per-views or on some of your Raws, and you'll bring in even more people. Not just the women, but men as well. They want to see more than just the same guys in the same places. Give us new people, men and women. And Sasha managed to do the bank statement on a guardrail. She wins. Rick comes out, gives her a handshake, gives her a big hug, and thanks her for basically saying, you basically have dedicated this to me. I don't know what's going to happen next Raw. Maybe Rick will come back and he will work with Sasha again. Let Sasha have Ric Flair as her mentor. That actually would make some sense, storyline-wise, to have Rick mentoring Sasha Banks because his daughter Charlotte fucked him over on nationwide TV, saying, I don't need you, you're nothing but death to me. But here's a question to you. And I want to see if anyone can answer this, because I am curious about this. When you look at both of these women, they're polar opposites to a certain point. But there is a difference. When you look at Charlotte, Charlotte can get it done every single time on a pay-per-view. It's been 15 pay-per-views from what I understand. And she has not, 14 to 13 pay-per-views. I might be wrong about the numbers. Either between 15 and 13 that she's been on, and she's not lost the title. But when she goes on a Raw, she either has to cheat or she does win clean, like Sasha Banks. But you tell me about Sasha. Every time on a pay-per-view when it counts, she loses. If it's an ordinary match on a pay-per-view, she can win it. But when it comes down to it, she loses big on a pay-per-view. And she loses sometimes big on a Raw. But in general, she does win enough on Raw to say that they only allow her to win on Raw and they only allow Charlotte to win on a pay-per-view. Now, what does it tell you? There's something wrong with this picture. If you're seeing this from a straight perspective, shouldn't Charlotte have some type of equal wins on Raw and pay-per-views? To a certain extent, not 100% on Raw. She can't win every single time. And on the pay-per-view should have some losses. But she has 0 losses on pay-per-views and sporadic losses on Raw. What do you get with Sasha Banks? 0 wins on a pay-per-view and very sporadic on Raw. I just don't understand what the WWE are thinking when it comes to Sasha Banks. She performs well, she talks well, she looks good in the ring. She's a beautiful woman. She knows how to... Look, there are 5 tools that no matter if it's a male or a female in wrestling, you must have. You must have a character. You must have charisma. You must have the ability to talk. You must be a ring general. And you have... ring general and do work in the ring. And you got to have a certain physique. Charlotte fits a good portion of that. 4 out of 5. She's not a very curvaceous woman. Most guys like to see a woman with certain curves. So she's got 4 out of 5s. But she talks well. She's physically good when it goes in the ring. She has charisma. And she's a ring general. Sasha, the same thing. She may not be a heavy-chested, well-boobed woman like Naomi got a big butt, but she doesn't have big boobs. She has most curves that most people would really be fond of. But Sasha is a thinner woman. She can talk well. She goes in the ring. She's a ring general. She has charisma. She has everything. But when you really see it, Sasha's not getting anywhere. I'm glad she won, and I would be glad if WWE does something with her. But if she doesn't have a win on a pay-per-view, and her wins on Raw are sporadic at best, you wonder what the hell's going on. You wonder, I just don't get it. This was a fantastic match between them. Neither one of them are bad performers. But if Sasha can't win at a pay-per-view and her wins on Raw are sporadic, they're not giving her the opportunity many people think that she's getting. Getting this title, what does this mean? Does this mean the feud between her and Sasha, between her and Charlotte is over? I don't think so. So when Roadblock comes up in 3 weeks, is Charlotte going to defend it against a wonderful Charlotte? Because Charlotte's going to do her rematch clause. Will Sasha actually win for once on a pay-per-view when it means something? Because if she doesn't win on this pay-per-view Roadblock that's coming up, and she jobs, but then she gets something again on Raw, that means the WWE has no stock in her. Not one fucking bit. I'm sorry for the cursing, but you get my point. I understand if you're sporadic on pay-per-views, and you're sporadic on the Raw or SmackDown that you're a part of. But if you barely win on a pay-per-view, almost nothing when it's important, and you're sporadic on the TV show, they don't have big stock in you. And even though she's won the title again, a third-time champ, does not mean that she will be given stock in the next pay-per-view. It's a minor one. If she doesn't win on this minor pay-per-view, you can see what I'm saying, that she has no stock. They don't care about Sasha Banks. But this is just my point of view. You guys tell me below. I hope you enjoyed this, basically, Zane's view on Raw. Please give me a comment below. I will be getting my SmackDown review done as soon as possible. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.